Hello dear students, this is Vishal sir from Ikra High School. Today we are going to study chapter 15 Improvement in Food Resources from Standard 9th NCERT syllabus. Let's read the chapter to understand it better. We know that all living organisms need food. Food supplies protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins and minerals, all of which we require for body development, growth and health. Both plants and animals are major sources of food for us. We obtain most of this food from agriculture and animal husbandry. We read in newspapers that efforts are always being made to improve production from agriculture and animal husbandry. Why is it necessary? Why we cannot make do with the current level of production? India is a very populous country. Our population is more than 1 billion people and it is still growing. As food for this growing population, we will soon need more than a quarter of billion tons of grain every year. This can be done by farming on more land, but India is already intensively cultivated. As a result, we do not have any major scope for increasing the area of land under cultivation. Therefore, it is necessary to increase our production efficiency for both crops and livestock. So dear students, up to now what we have read gives us a brief idea about what are the improvements that we have to make in food resources. Now, first of all, let's understand what is meant by food resources. Actually, food resources means those things or resource that provide us food. Another question arises, which is the important food resource that is available to every living organism? That brings to the answer, agriculture. You may know that majority of living organisms depend on plant for their food, directly or indirectly. That means majority of living things consume agriculture. We get crops, fruits, vegetables, spices and many more things only from agriculture. Even the herbivore animal get their fodder from agriculture. So that concludes agriculture is the largest resource of food for us. Other than agriculture, we also obtain our food from animals like milk, fish, chicken, eggs. Also ghee, curd, buttermilk is the byproduct of milk, that is animal product. Thus, animals are also an important food resource for us. Now, the name of the chapter suggests how can we improve the food resource. But before that, one question comes to our mind, why is it necessary to improve the food resource? It is necessary as you may be aware of the advancement of science like mobiles in communication which provide us quickest communication, also the advancement in transportation like cars and mass transportation like bullet trains and airplanes. Also we have progressed in traveling space too. Mars and Moon missions are the best examples to prove it. But still, though this much of advancement we are still facing crisis in providing food to the most needy. There is a lot of population that sleeps hungry most of the night. There is also increase in population, but we have limited land resource that is used for agriculture. Thus, to solve the problem of this food crisis and malnutrition, improvement in food resource is becoming a priority. Here you can also see that efforts to meet the food demand by increasing food production have led to some successes so far. Now here we are talking about Green Revolution and White Revolution. If we read the chapter further, we will find that there were programs initiated by government to increase the food production. Now those programs were Green Revolution and White Revolution. Now what are these programs? Let's understand it. It is not so that nothing was being done regarding the food resources till now. As you may have heard about Green Revolution. Green Revolution was a program initiated by Indian government to maximize the production of agriculture at the same limited land available using various techniques like proper irrigation, modern equipment, healthy seeds and so on. Thus, this program was carried out to maximize the output of the food production with the help of various modern techniques. And this has been successful since its implementation. There also had been White Revolution that was propagated after the Green Revolution. This revolution was related to the increase in the production of milk. The program made India self-sufficient in milk production. Other dairies like Amul got a boost and the milk from most of the remote part of the Indian territory was now accessed to most modern cities, which in turn benefited the farmer associated with animal husbandry. This program was very much effective and the situation improved a lot. However, these revolutions mean that our natural resources are getting used more intensively. As a result, there are more chances of causing damage to our natural resource to the point of destroying their balance completely. Therefore, it is important that we should increase the food production without degrading our environment and disturbing the balances maintaining it. Hence, there is a need for sustainable practice in agriculture and animal husbandry. Also, simply increasing grain production for storage in warehouse cannot solve the problem of malnutrition and hunger. People should have money to purchase food. Food security depends on both availability of food and access to it. The majority of our population depends on agriculture for their livelihood. Increasing the income of people working in agriculture is therefore necessary to combat the problem of hunger. Scientific management practice should be undertaken to obtain high yields from farms. For sustained livelihood, one should undertake mixed farming, intercropping, and integrated farming practice. For example, combine agriculture with livestock, poultry, fisheries, beekeeping. The question thus becomes, how do we increase the yield of crops and livestock? So dear students, now let's discuss about some important points to be undertaken before understanding the main concept of our chapter. Like food gives nutrition, as we have studied in lower standard about the importance of food in our life. You know that food provides us nutrition like carbohydrate, protein, fat, mineral, and many more, which are important for the growth and survival of our body. The nutrition obtained from various food is necessary for the growth. Next thing that is to keep in mind is the source of food. Like how do we obtain food and from where do we obtain food? As discussed earlier, the main source of food is agriculture and the secondary source of the food is animals. It is also known as livestock. Now let's see what problem we face in food management. The main problem is inaccessibility of well-nourished food for all. Though India is an agrarian country where near about 70% of population is occupied in agriculture, still there is a lack of availability of well-nourished food. The main reason would be the population explosion that made India reach to the pinnacle of the world's largest populated country. There must be some solution to overcome the current situation. According to The Economist, the solution lies in our hands only. The first thing would be to produce larger amount of food than it is produced today. The second would be to keep in mind that the food is access to maximum population. Let us understand that food isn't produced at the same rate as in some major state, but the population lives even in the remote areas where there isn't proper land and irrigation for food production. So it is necessary to transport the food produced from one region to be reached to every citizen of the country. There must be correct distribution network to be established in every part of the country. Where our country's administration has implemented the PDS, that is the public distribution system, for providing the right amount of food to the poorest people also. But still this should be improved as there are many people who are unable to buy the food even at the lowest rate of the government. People in our country face poverty at the greater extent. Thus, government must ensure that the people of the country must get food at the right amount and at the right time. One of the solutions to overcome the poverty would be government must ensure that the people are employed according to their skills and qualification so that the citizens may get salary according to their prospectus. Improvement in crop yields. Cereals such as wheat, rice, maize, millets and sorghum provide us carbohydrate for energy requirement. Pulses like gram, pea, black gram, green gram, pigeon pea, lentil provide us with protein. And oil seed include soybean, groundnut, sesame, castor, mustard, linseed, and sunflower provide us with necessary fats. Vegetables, spices, and fruits provide a range of vitamins and minerals in addition to small amount of protein, carbohydrate, and fat. In addition to these food crops, fodder crops like berseem, oats, or Sudan grass are raised as food for the livestock. So dear students, let's categorize the crops according to nutrition that they provide. The first category is cereals, which includes rice, wheat, maize, millet and so on. After consuming this food, one feels satisfied, that is a feeling of fullness is experienced. This food provides carbohydrate, which is the main source of energy needed for our daily course. The second category is pulses, which includes gram, pea and so on. Pulses provide us protein for the body, which is necessary for the growth and wear and tear of our body. We also have oil seeds, which provide fats that gives our body extra energy, which is utilized during the situation when your body needs extra energy. We also consume vegetable, fruits and spices for the internal strength of the body. These provides vitamins and minerals which increase the immune system of our body. So these are the various type of crops that we generally consume. We also grow fodder crops. These include oat, Sudan grass, etc. that are especially grown for cattle. Different crop require different climatic conditions, temperature and photoperiod for their growth and completion of their life cycle. Photoperiods are related to the duration of sunlight. Growth of plant and flowerings are dependent on sunlight. As we all know, plants manufacture their food in sunlight by the process of photosynthesis. There are some crops which are grown in rainy season called the Kharif season from the month of June to October, and some of the crops are grown in the winter season called Rabi season from November to April. Paddy, soybean, pigeon pea, maize, cotton, green gram and black gram are Kharif crop, whereas wheat, gram, peas, mustard, linseed are Rabi crops. In India, there has been a 4 times increase in the production of food grains from 1952 to 2010 with only 25% increase in the cultivable land area. How has this increase in the production been achieved? If we think of the practices involved in farming, we can see that they can be divided into 3 stages. The first is the choice of the seed for planting. The second is nurturing of the crop plants. The third is protection of the growing and harvested crop from the loss. Thus, the major group of activity for improving crop yield can be classified as crop variety improvement, crop production improvement and crop protection management. So dear students, in this section we studied about that crops can also be categorized according to the seasons that they are grown, as different crop needs different climatic conditions for their growth and their life cycle. Some crops grow in rainy season and that are called Kharif crops, while some grow in winter season and they are called Rabi crops. Also, we can read that there is a substantial increase in the production of crop which has been increased due to the taking care of crops in 3 different stages. The first is important in crop variety, the second is improvement in production and the third is improvement in its management. Crop variety improvement. This approach depends on finding a crop variety that can give a good yield. Varieties or strain of crops can be selected by breeding for various useful characteristics such as disease resistance, response to fertilizer, product quality and high yield. One way of incorporating desired characteristic into crop varieties is by hybridization. It refers to crossing between genetically dissimilar plants. This crossing may be intervarietal, interspecific or intergeneric. Another way of improving crop is by introducing a gene that would provide a desired characteristic. This results in genetically modified crops. For new varieties of crops to be accepted, it is necessary that the varieties produced high yield under different conditions that are found in different areas. Farmer would need to be provided with good quality seed of the particular variety, that is, seed should all be of the same variety and germinate under the same conditions. Cultivation practices and crop yield are related to weather, soil quality and availability of water. Since weather conditions such as drought and flood situations are unpredictable, varieties that can be grown in diverse climatic conditions are useful. Similarly, varieties tolerant to high soil salinity have been developed. Some of the factors for which variety improvement is done are, so before studying the steps that are being taken, let's study what crop variety improvement means. As it is necessary to find a crop that gives a good yield, and one way to obtain good yield is through hybridization. Hybridization means preparing a new seed scientifically from naturally grown to dissimilar crops, which involves genetic crossing. And there are 3 different ways to prepare such seed. Intervarietal, that means that between 2 different varieties. Interspecific, that means 2 different species of the same genus are involved. And intergeneric, that means the 2 different genera are involved. Another way of obtaining a seed with desired property is introducing a new gene in a naturally grown crop. Thus, farmers can be provided with such seed so that they can cultivate crop with higher yield in every natural condition that they face. Now let's read the factors that have been implemented because of variety improvement. First is higher yield. To increase the production of crop per acre, this type of seeds are prepared so that farmers can gain higher yield. Improved quality. The quality consideration of crop products vary from crop to crop. Baking quality is important in wheat. Protein quality is in pulses. Oil quality in oilseed, and preserving quality in fruit and vegetables. Now these are also being regarded or being tested in laboratory so that we can obtain good wheat or good oil seed, so we can have large production of oil or large production of wheat flour. Then new seeds that are prepared are biotic and abiotic resistance. The crop production can go down due to biotic, that is disease, insects and nematodes, and abiotic, that is drought, salinity, water logging, heat, cold and frost. These are the situations where crop cannot grow properly. So there are being crops made or seeds prepared in the laboratory that can sustain this both resistance, biotic as well as abiotic. Then there are seeds prepared which has maturity duration change. That means shorter the duration of the crop from sowing to harvesting, more economical is the variety. There may be less loss if the maturity duration is changed for shorter periods. Such short duration allow farmer to grow multiple round of crop in a year, and it also reduces the cost of crop production. Then we have another seed which has the wider adaptability. That means it can be cultivated in more different variety of land than in one specific variety of land. Developing varieties of wider adaptability will help in stabilizing the crop production under different environmental conditions. One variety that can be grown under different climatic condition in different areas. Then we have desirable ergonomic characteristic. That means the tallness and the shortness of the plant. For example, in fodder crops, tallness is the main characteristic that is to be undertaken, while for cereals, dwarfness of the plant is to be undertaken. As for fodder crops, lengthier the fodder crop, the more production would be for the cattle. While for cereals, to be dwarf means the seeds or the growth of the cereals will be good if the plant is dwarf, it consumes less manure and water from the plant than the seed.